cookies, welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. I'm still in Denmark and today I thought about my past 3 weeks when I start implementing a new way of making decisions in my life. And I found this method that I was using very powerful. And I said, okay, I have to share it with you because it might help someone else also. And the thing is that I believe our current situation is a sum up of all the decisions we used to do in the previous years, and that also our future will be based on the decisions that we are making today. So it's very important to know why we are making some decisions and how to improve them. So I was reading a book from Tony Robbins, Awake the Giant Within, and I came to his idea of that we are basically making decisions only because we are linking pain to them. I mean, we are linking pleasure to them, or we are trying to avoid pain. So when I got this idea, I was like, okay, that's a good one. I will be aware and just see why I'm making decisions. So basically, whenever I did a decision during these 3 weeks, I asked myself, okay, is it because I try to gain pleasure out of it, or I try to avoid pain? And when I got this idea, what is it all about, I asked myself a second question, which was whether it was a pleasure. I asked myself, okay, Taja, do you get a 5-minute pleasure out of it, or you will actually gain a pleasure that will last? And for example, when it comes to having cheaty meals or not working out or something like this, I always realize, okay, it's a 5-minute pleasure, and I often say to myself, okay, I don't need it actually. But okay, there are some times when you say, okay, I really need this 5-minute pleasure, but usually I just love to have a long-term pleasure. And that was basically the third thing that I have changed, is that I learned to link pleasure to the long-term results, and I learned to wait for pleasure. I realized that if you wait for a pleasure, the pleasure that comes afterwards is so much more powerful, so much more joyful, and in the end it lasts longer. Because if you try to link pleasure to the 5 minutes things, like, I don't know, eating junk food, or maybe it can be drinking alcohol and it will last for an hour or so. Those are the pleasures that you always have to make the same thing all over again to gain the pleasure out of it. But if you link pleasure to a long-term results, once you came to these results, they will last longer, and you will feel so great that you achieved them, that you will just keep on doing the things that brings you to these results. And in this case, you can gain like long-term pleasure that will actually last. So maybe you should try the same and try to implement those 3 things in your days. So first of all, be aware of why are you making decision, whether it's because you are trying to gain pleasure out of it or you are trying to avoid pain. Second of all, acknowledge what kind of pleasure will you gain from this decision. Is it a short-term or it's a long-term one? And third of all, learn to wait for your pleasure. And I think the third one is the most powerful one. And I hope that these 3 things or 3 steps can help you also, because I can say that it's pretty helpful for me, and that the decisions that I was making during these 3 weeks, they are already coming to the long-term pleasure. So I already enjoying it so much. So I hope I'm gonna help with this anyone out there. See you soon. Bye bye.